Hi there, this is my channel, Yaru Walks. In the year 2024, I will embark on an epic walking journey across the United States. I plan to hike 8,000 miles and to cross the US 3 times, via the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, and Continental Divide Trail. In the hiking world, this is known as a calendar year Triple Crown and has been completed by only a handful of hikers in history. The calendar year Triple Crown has traditionally been completed by jumping within or between the trails throughout the year, primarily to avoid snow, but also to avoid other seasonal hazards such as floods, extreme desert heat, and wildfires. For my attempt, I'm trying to hike each trail on a continuous, unbroken, end-to-end footpath, and to accomplish this, I must hike across all 4 seasons. I will be posting weekly updates along the way, so you can join me for the journey. Wish me luck. So I'm on a road walk today. I think it's called Highway 26. I had a brief scare last night where I thought this road was closed, according to a map that I saw back on trail. But I reconfirmed that my study ahead a couple of weeks ago was correct. This road is now open. It was closed, I guess, a month ago, and the sign that I saw was outdated. But here I am walking the road today. There's a wildfire that's mostly out now, but it was like 20 miles across, and it's burning across the CDT over there. So the reason I'm on this road walk is to alternate around the fire. So I'm walking towards the town of Dubois. I learned from a local today that there was some pretentious postmaster who named the town Dubois, D-U-B-O-I-S. So I'm off that main road now, working my way up this hill, Union Road, I think, Union Reservoir Road. And for the last 15 minutes or so, there's been a steady stream of wildland firefighters driving downhill in trucks. And it's just neat. They have such a good vibe. Those guys are just the highest quality people. You'll see sometimes on a road people don't wave, which is fine. That doesn't mean you're rude, but every single firefighter, waves or gives me a thumbs up for hiking up the trail, or up this road today. All right, so last night I ran into a challenge. The road that I thought was open into the Wind River Basin is closed, Union Road, and the fire closure extends for something like 5 or so miles further to the west of that road. Basically, the closure map had been updated again in the last week since I mapped my route to the Wind River around the fire. So that road that was open is now closed. So I consulted the updated map and created a detour that is now working its way around the outer perimeter of that closure, which probably cost me about half a day. And then this detour I'm hiking is not really going to be pretty. Well, it might actually be pretty, but it's not going to be easy. I'm going up this mountain, I think to 11,000 feet. And I'm going to have to bushwhack 2 miles off this road up to another road. That road, I will walk back towards the fire, where I'm going to encounter, I think, another closure. And at that closure, I think that there's a walking trail that's open, quite literally running the exact, it's 10 feet from where it's closed. It runs right parallel to it for about half a mile. And then after that half a mile, it's completely open. The closure kind of divots back in, and the trail goes straight, and I should be good. But then from there, to get to the Wind River Range, I'm going to hike through trail for 10 miles. Then the trail stops, and I'm going to have to bushwhack down a mountain 2 miles, and then bushwhack 4 miles through a riverbed till I reconnect to a trail. And that trail is going to take me into the opening of the Wind River Range. So I I took a couple of hours to figure that plan out yesterday. And then the route that I'm hiking now is adding on like 5-ish miles, but then a good 8 miles are bushwhacking, which is going to be a lot slower. So all in all, I think that's costing me around half a day, but it should be exciting at least. Kind of a cool way to get into the Wind River Range, taking the back door. All right, so this is where I'm turning off the logging road here, and the goal is to get up and over that hill where there's another road, and then I'm going to take that back this direction to connect to a hiking trail. I'm working my way up the hillside. The gentlest slope is somewhere up here, based on the contour map. It's pretty fun. Stumbled onto a boulder field. Almost looks like a trail right here. So I came through the woods. This trail, which goes along the north edge of Moon Lake, is closed to the fire closure. There's no sign here, I assume because these blowdowns are insane. I bet they tried to, but they couldn't get here. But this trail, I think called the Simpson Lake Trail, which runs along the edge of Moon Lake, is open. So I'm at about 11,000 feet right now, which is the highest I've been on the CDT yet. This is all part of my bushwhack around the Park Creek fire. And yeah, so I still have about 7 miles to go before I connect to the actual CDT again. So this is like a short high route drop in. Coming in through a canyon. So technically my journey through the river, it just started a little offset to the official CDT starting point. But in about 7 miles I should be walking on the CDT again. And so this little depression here will be my entry point into the winds. So I made it all the way down what was basically a cliff, though I found a good way across it. I was very concerned there for about 15 minutes that I was going to have to turn back and go all the way back, basically backtrack for a day and a half. And I don't know, find another way around, because over here, in fact, you can see it, there's just a giant cliff. And I was following the route someone else took. And, to be honest, I just don't really understand their route, because they seem to have taken an ultra steep route down, so maybe they rappelled down or climbed down. But I took a look at the topo map, and I saw, basically a more gradual slope coming down over here, and that was the route I was originally going to take, because I thought there was a river running down, but I figured since someone took this other route, I'll just go that way first. Worst case, I'll backtrack up and I can leave, or I can take my, try the other way down. So anyway, the way that I originally thought looked best was the best way down. At least the easiest if you're on foot and don't have ropes. So luckily there was a way down here, and I mapped a GPS route all the way down, so if I have to turn back, I can go right back up the same way. But anyway, I'm now down in the canyon. I've got 11,000 foot mountains on all sides of me. But if I go this way following the river flow, it'll take me to the Roaring Fork Trail. And that will then connect to the CDT. So it's kind of like back on the PCT on Mission Creek, where you had to follow the creek and just kind of bushwhack for 4 or 5 miles. That's the plan. And then I'll get actual trail back. So that's the next step, is to work my way down this canyon and then connect to the Roaring Fork Trail. This is by far the sketchiest bushwhack I've ever done. Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Just you wait for those blowdowns in Oregon and Washington. Better not complain. It's only going to get harder. Made it back on the CDT. So I had a little change of plans. I'm gonna push hard. I have 2 bail spots for this storm. One is in like a trailhead in 30 miles, which I can for sure get to today. There's a second one in 70 miles, which I could hypothetically get to maybe sometime between like 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. tomorrow if I hike through the night. Generally speaking, I don't want to turn away from an idea. I want to turn away from what's real. Now, when I say that, I mean, I don't know how much snow is going to fall tomorrow. You know, I could run off tonight, get down into that town, and then 1 inch drops. But at the end of the day, the forecast says 6 inches, which could be even worse. So you can't let the goal and the ego get ahead of what's a smart choice. Even if you make the right choice and you get lucky, oh, look, I hiked and it was 1 inch. What if it had been a foot? I think it's possible to make the right choice and then in the future have PTSD over how reckless some of the choices are that you make. And although I'm the last hiker southbound on the CDT right now, that does not mean I'm making idiotic choices. I really wouldn't be where I am at this point this year if that's how I operated. So I'm sticking true to my mission, generally speaking, of see what you're turning away from before you turn away from it, but also use the wisdom that you have to make the right choice. Because sometimes you don't want to wait to see that 1 foot of snow dropped when you're stuck in a basin like this, you know, and the nearest road's now 30 miles away. Along Green River Pass at around 10,500 feet. Most of the Wind River range where the CDT runs is around 9,000 to 10,000 to 11,000 feet. Mostly around 10,000. So pretty high elevation sustained for something like, 100 miles. And this is really where all that starts. I'll kind of turn the camera on so you can see. It's just like I'm cruising in a meadow, but the meadow is at 10,000 feet right near the peaks all around me. So pretty, ow, that kind of hurt. So anyway, yeah, just stunning views. It's unfortunate that I have to turn off to Pinedale now due to the snowstorm coming in. But I guess I'll be able to take a look at it tomorrow and look at the forecast going ahead, and maybe I can get back up here. That's what I'm hoping to do, but I'll have to wait and see. All right, so this is my turn off to Pinedale. So part of the reason I'm bummed is that I think this will be what you're seeing right now. This is the last day that you'll see no snow at this elevation in the Wind River range this year. I don't know, maybe if you have a lot of sun in November it might melt again, but at least for the next several weeks.